If you take stock of your life and realize you don't have a tight inner circle, your first reaction is almost certainly to assume it's your fault. You tell yourself, I'm bad at people. You tell yourself you're awkward. Or maybe, late at night, you tell yourself that you are just broken. But what if that isn't true? Maybe being alone doesn't mean you are socially broken. Maybe it just means your standards are different. Psychology suggests that chronic friendlessness often stems from a specific trade-off. It is a pattern where the mind values truth more than belonging. The truth is, most relationships come with a price tag. To fit in, to be popular, you have to pay with social lubrication. You have to tell white lies. You have to feign interest in boring topics. And you have to nod when everyone else nods. If your brain prioritizes accuracy and authenticity above social comfort, you essentially price yourself out of the market of casual friendship. You aren't antisocial, you simply refuse to wear a mask just to be accepted. If you have very few friends, you likely possess 5 specific rare personality traits. You aren't broken, you're just operating on a different operating system. Let's break them down. Number 1, hyper self-awareness. The majority of people just drift through interactions unconsciously. They say things without thinking. They move without checking their posture. They're comfortable in the chaos. But for you, every interaction is manual. You are constantly monitoring your tone, your word choice, and your body language in real time. It's like you're playing a high-stakes game of chess while everyone else is just playing checkers. You walk away from a chat and instantly run the tape back in your mind. Did I talk too much? Was that joke weird? Did I make enough eye contact? This leads to a very specific kind of exhaustion. You know that feeling when you leave a party or a networking event and you feel physically heavy? That isn't because you hate people. It's because you've been working. You're computing a volume of inputs 10 times higher than anyone else there. The result is that you withdraw. You decline the invitation, not because you don't want to connect, but because your social battery drains so fast that solitude is the only place you can actually rest. But this hyper-awareness usually comes with a second, more isolating ability. Trait number 2 is high social perception. You have a natural lie detector that you cannot turn off. Have you ever watched 2 people talking and felt repulsed? Not by them, but by the performance. You spot the fake compliment instantly. You see the status signaling. You see the machinery behind the smile. For everyone else, this insincerity is just a bonding mechanism. It helps things run smoothly. It's polite. But for you, it feels like a violation of reality. You refuse to play the game. Although everyone else is happy reciting the lines to move up, you see no value in playing along. You don't laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You don't compliment people just to get something from them. To others, this looks like arrogance. They assume you consider yourself superior, but you don't feel superior. You just feel allergic to lying. And because you won't play the game, you end up sitting on the bench alone. But one habit keeps driving people off, even when you try your best to get close. And this one is tricky, because it actually looks like a strength. Number 3, emotional self-reliance. This is what psychologists might call a closed-loop system. From an evolutionary perspective, social bonds are frequently rooted in mutual vulnerability. We bond when we ask for help. We bond when we complain about our boss or our partners or the stress of exams. It's a way of saying, I need you. But you have emotional self-reliance. When you face a crisis, whether it's a breakup, financial stress, or burnout, your first instinct is to retreat. You analyze the problem, you regulate your emotions, and you solve it internally. You never complain. You only seek input once the problem is already solved. This sounds like resilience, and it is, but socially, it's a wall. When you never show cracks in your armor, you deny others the chance to feel needed. People want to feel useful. Fixing every problem on your own sends the unintended message that those around you are not needed. And eventually, they stop trying to help. They assume you don't need them, so they drift away to someone who does. Yet sometimes the barrier isn't a lack of necessity. It's a fundamental mismatch in mindset. This brings us to low social conformity. You are immune to the bandwagon effect. Communities depend on conformity to survive. They require unanimous agreement, even if the idea is irrational.
This creates a sense of security for the pack. But you possess a level of independent thinking that overrides the safety of the herd. If the group is doing something illogical, or mean, or just stupid, you physically cannot force yourself to join in just for the sake of unity. You are the one challenging the narrative while others just blindly agree. By constantly questioning the consensus, you become a threat to the group's cohesion. You become the outsider. You might notice that people respect you, but they don't invite you to dinner. That's because you're unpredictable, and groups hate unpredictability. They want comfort, not truth. Yet a final factor locks this dynamic in place. It creates the illusion that you are heartless precisely when you care more than anyone else. Number 5, emotional reciprocity issues. This is the disconnect between feeling and showing. There's a concept in psychology related to alexithymia, which is a difficulty in identifying and expressing emotions in the moment. It doesn't signify an absence of emotion. It simply indicates a latency in your emotional response. When something emotional happens in a group, maybe a tragedy or even a big celebration, everyone else reacts instantly. They mirror each other's excitement or sadness. But you're processing. You're analyzing. You might not feel the full weight of the emotion until you're alone, hours or even days later. On the surface, you're stone-faced. You look unbothered. This is viewed as apathy. To them, you seem emotionless. They don't see that you care deeply. They don't see that you are often the most reliable person in their life, the one who will actually show up when things go wrong. They just see that you didn't cry when you were supposed to. They judge you on your expression, not your intention. So where does this leave you? If you relate to these traits, I need you to hear this. You are not broken. You aren't flawed. You are simply in the wrong environment. Your operating system is designed for precision, truth, and self-sufficiency. Meanwhile, the social world is often built on ambiguity, emotional dependence, and surface-level noise. You are too objective and exacting for a reality built on pleasant fantasies. So here is my challenge for you this week. Stop trying to force yourself to be fake just to fill a room with people. You will only end up exhausted and resentful. Instead, lean into who you are. The goal isn't to change your software to run on everyone else's hardware. The goal is to find the few, the very few, who value the truth as much as you do. Choosing isolation and truth is worth more than being popular for a lie. You don't need a crowd. You just need 1 or 2 people who understand the silence. If you're ready to stop apologizing for how your mind works and start building a life that fits you, try this tonight. Write down one moment where you felt you had to fake it and promise yourself you won't do it next time. You've got this. I'll see you in the next one.